What relationship advice do you have for me who's engaged and Jack who's single?
I'm a bachelor. He's to be.
You know, I actually have something that I said to myself that I still say now, and it seems simple, but I always say to myself, I will always be good to Amanda. And it's just the simplest phrase, but it applies to everything. Like, there's really very rarely a fight that you get into that can't be solved with just stepping back and being like, you know what, I'm gonna take the high road and be good to my partner. Like, when we first got married, like, I'm like 22, going through the most stressful training, and it was like the only person I was around when I wasn't training was like my wife, and I was like kind of a jerk, you know, half the time because I'm just like so stressed. And I just like saw, like, if that's the path you're gonna go, you're not gonna be married for very long. And so I like literally adopted this mindset of, when in doubt, like, always be good to Amanda. And like, even now, like, I literally say it to myself, if we're arguing or upset about anything, my bottom line is like, that's the person I want to be with. And so why would I like soil it by like focusing on something that's kind of asinine?
Was there something that she did in those first 72 hours where you're like, okay, like that's it?
I saw a picture of her. I obviously saw her, and I was like hanging out with her, but there was a picture of her. She went to South Africa like for this like school trip or whatever with the college, like right before we met. And so all her friends that went out and like partied and had a great time. But Amanda's like this totally like motherly person. And she found these like little kids that were in South Africa that were like playing at the playground. And all Amanda wanted to do was like go like hang out with these like little kids and like go pet the animals that were like strays on the roads. She's just like a very wholesome person. And there's this picture of her where she's sitting on a swing and she's holding this little girl who clearly she doesn't know. It's this little kid that's like flocked to my wife. And she just like looks like the perfect mom. I don't know. I was like, that's like, I want that person. I want like that soul to be around my kids, who's just like naturally loving and caring and just like an old soul, I suppose. And I still like look at that picture all the time. Like, cause that's when I fell in love with my wife. It's like, I saw that picture and I was like, that's the one.
How do you find someone like that?
I don't know. I think it was just luck that I found her. She was just a friend of a friend, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I think I got lucky that I met the right person, you know? And I think now, like, you know, it's probably really challenging to meet people, or I should say it's almost like with the dating apps, you can meet so many people. Not that I haven't used a dating app. I met her, you know, normally in college or whatever, but like you have so many choices. It probably makes it really hard to like, I'm going to stop now because it's
the paradox of choice.
Yeah.
But the problem is you do have to make your decision at some point. You know what I mean? So you can't just continue to go on new dates, meet new people forever.
That is something that I feel lucky to have just met somebody and it worked out. I think that's partially luck, you know.
I have a question. Feel free. If you want to cut this, let me know. If you don't think Amanda looks great in a dress and she asks you, do you tell her?
Oh, no. No way, dude. She's beautiful no matter what, you know?
Respect. I respect that.
No, I'm obsessed with my wife. Like, she would look good to me no matter what she was wearing.
I want to be at that level. I want to be at that level.
We always get conflicting answers. Some people are like, absolutely. Honesty is 100%. If she doesn't look good in that dress, I'm going to tell her. And then she appreciates it because when she does look good and I tell her she looks great, she knows I mean it.
Yeah.
But then some people, they say, it's not the suit that makes the man. It's the man that makes the suit. You know what I mean?
There you go. I think that the one thing that's been great about this career path that I'm on now is, in a way, it's candidly, it's very isolating. I'm sure you can relate to this, Graham. I'm sure you both can. Like, as you become, I guess, more of a public figure within the YouTuber space, you don't really feel like that's happening. You feel like you're just making videos and like it's cool and you're making a living off of it and it's awesome. People like know who you are. You like go out and they like know who you are, and it's like so flattering. It's like the coolest thing, but it also like it's very isolating because you're not really. It's harder to relate to people in a way. Maybe I just react that way to it. But I've found that like because I met Amanda way before I was Mr. Ballin, like she knows me as John, and it's like the purest relationship, you know, it's just me and my wife. And so as like the whole Mr. Ballin thing has grown, and I've definitely had some people aggressively take advantage of me, and like there's been some rough stuff. I've always had Amanda to like be real with me, you know. I can be completely unfiltered and real with her, and it's helped our relationship tremendously. That like she's my number one, and she knows me for me. I'm not Mr. Ballin. I'm not a Navy SEAL. I'm like the dude she met in college. And so it's strengthened our relationship tenfold.
How often does she shoot down ideas where you're like, I think this is great? And she's like,
All
oh, like, could you give us an example?
Does she have veto power?
Yeah. So she like, so we're doing our first live show in a week, actually a week from today. And all the stories that I've selected for the show have been run through Amanda. And like, she told me like a few of them, she's like, no, don't do that one. Like no one's gonna like that one. Like, don't do that one. I'm like, all right, yeah, I completely wanted to do that one, but because you said so, I'm not gonna do that. But definitely story selection. If she doesn't think it's good, and she's shameless about being honest if the story's good or not. Like she'll like literally be like, nah, that's boring, like halfway through the story.
So is it just you internalize the story and recite it to her as though you're filming, and then she tells you if it's yes or no, or it's just the concept?
So no, I like literally will be out in my studio like researching it and like internalizing the story, and then before I'll film it, I'll say, hey man, let me just run the story by you, and I'll literally do like the whole thing. It's not
that's the coolest.
I'm not doing
the coolest thing. I would love to be a fly on the wall where you're just.
I just tell her the story. It's like in the kitchen. She just listens and then she gives feedback.
It should be a side channel of just you running the stories by her, and the stories that don't make it on your main channel should be the side channel.
There are many.
I'm sure they're good, but they're just not like top tier.
Yeah, she'll be very honest. That's
good.
the key. She's very honest with me.